Hello and welcome back to Project Hercules Diaries, where you join me for a moment of quiet contemplation. This weekend you may notice the boat is not on the roof. I'm off for a paddle and then I'm off to see my folks, so there won't be an awful lot in the way of updates, but it's good to take a break now and then and sit and ponder, because after all the comments on the previous video, I think a lot of people are right. This Dynastar probably isn't up to the job of cranking over that motor. It turns at 900 RPM and is 900 watts of output, and a modern starter motor off a car is about 2 and a bit kilowatts and turns at 2000 RPM. So I'm doing a bit of research at the moment as to whether I can take a series wound starter motor and use it to generate power as a self-exciting dynamo. If not, I need a way of disengaging the drive after it started the bike, but keeping the chain running. That shouldn't be too difficult because that's just mechanical. And the other thing to to consider is that the starter motor is probably engineered for being used occasionally to start the car, not be continuously driven by a chain. So I might need to upgrade the bearings or the housings of the starter motor itself. And as they're about £85 to £100 brand new, I'm just going to go with a new one after I've done my research. It doesn't mean the project stops, because there's plenty to get on with. For example, the gap under the seat. This gap here I need to fit the fuel pump into. Now I have a fuel pump and it has a filter on it. Fuel goes in the silver end, comes out the gold end. I'm planning to mount that to a plate that I will bolt in here. So the plate will go over that gap, bolted on by the two bolts there that hold the tank on. So all you'll see is a flat plate when you look down from the top, and that fits nicely in there. I'll probably use aluminium, make a thick plate and tap the plate so I can bolt this through from the inside, and when I remove the plate this comes up to here with the fuel pipes on and the wiring intact. And then I've got to work out what sort of loom I want, draw a wiring diagram as per the other video, and work out ignition and all that kind of stuff. But that's relatively straightforward. Fuel is taken from the bottom of the tank here and is pumped up. It's not a great distance to lift the fuel to the carb. It's only from there to there when the tank's nearly empty, and when the tank's nearly full there's hardly any lifting required at all. So it's a very low pressure pump. I don't want to overcome the spring in the carb. And the other thing I've done is I've bought some very, very cheap spring off eBay, just as a proof of concept. But what I'm thinking of doing is, when I fitted my seat here, so the Solo Harris tweed seat comes off here, instead of having two springs under it like most people have, I will fit one spring on the end of the down tube there, and then have a little bell crank cantilever, so there's only one rod off the base of the seat that then squishes the spring in that direction. So you'll see the spring there on top of a plate, and everything else will be hidden. And of course all that still needs to be made, so it's not just about the lathes and the milling machines, it's also about hand tools and saws and files and the usual type of things that you need to do to make a bike. So there's plenty to think about, and unfortunately there's a few mundane little jobs, because the big red Guzzi decided to break down the other day, even caused me to walk. So corrosion has got to one of these fuses, which is apparently a common problem. Not sure if you can see in there, but it's all melted. So the fuse itself hasn't blown, but the connection is no good inside there, and that means it doesn't charge the battery. So although the bike is rideable, it's not practical to use it at the moment. So I need to work out what sort of fuse holder I'm going to get, and perhaps do a bit of an upgrade and modify that. And all of these things take a bit of time. So that's where we're at. Last little look at the bike, because always need, well, I never need an excuse to look at your bike, do you? There she is in all her glory, and progress is being made. It's just a little bit slow this weekend. So that's it for now. As usual, thank you for watching. More updates will follow.